Treasure Island, Treasure Island, I can't believe it, but it's true. Treasure Island.
We worked at a theater in Chicago for 13 years at the Juryland in Evergreen Park, and we ran the children's theater program there. And we were doing titles like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty and such. And the producer there said that he actually wanted to do something that was classic literature, and gave us the choice of Robin Hood,
Three Musketeers,
and Treasure Island. And we really both liked Treasure Island. We both read it as kids, and so there was sort of like, let's do Treasure Island. So that's where it all sort of began, was in a, quote, children's theater form.
Well, it was pretty wild. I mean, we had a wide range of people to choose from, and who ended up playing the parts changed a million times, and we saw almost 800 people to end up with the 19 people that will be, or 18 people at one time that will be on stage. We
cast. We had auditions here. We also went to New York, obviously, for a week, where we saw the bulk of the people. There's actually some people that are from Chicago, so the cast is sort of coming from everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, it was fun. It was actually really hard, because we saw a lot of great people and trying to narrow it down, but this cast were really, really happy.
And maybe 10 people for one part and only 2 people for another part.
Right.
And then one person changes over here and it changes 10 people down the road, and it just kept, kind of like chess pieces.
One of the things that we concentrated on, though, in casting that a lot of people might not even realize is because Jim Hawkins is obviously a child, but we cast an adult, we had to make sure that he's still in the sort of like ratio, still looked like a child. We sort of had a height limit cutoff. So the shortest person, there's one character, but it's a separate thing. But most of the people that surround Jim Hawkins are 5'10.5" or taller. So really,
and most of them quite a bit taller.
We go from like 5'10.5", which I think one person is, to 6'6.5". So we also were looking for all these really big guys so that our gyms would look small.
And at the beginning of the auditions, we couldn't say anything like that because we had no idea who would end up playing Jim Hawkins. And we did have some people that were much, much, much shorter, but in the end, we decided to go with we actually double cast Jim Hawkins.
And we actually at one point had 2 completely different casts. If we'd gone with one sort of idea for Jim, which would have been like 5 foot, 4'8", 4'9", it would have opened up the range to this group of people. And the casting was really sort of interesting. The other thing that's been sort of interesting, I think, well, at least for me, but I think for him as well, is in wearing different hats in this production. It's sort of amazing what happens when you're actually switching those hats. Because as writers, we spent a lot of time looking at the nuts and bolts of the story and the script and the journey of the characters. But then, as the actor, he's making discoveries on stage going, my character doesn't feel right saying that, even though we wrote him to say that. Or as a director, I'm looking at it going, okay, this would have made perfect sense, but I can't make sense of this staging-wise. This character can't say that because they were just over here. So it's interesting how our play is changing because of the different hats we're putting on to play it.
Sometimes I feel I should this, but only, I was going to have you throw this on the but only when I'm shopping. One second, sometimes I fear. Okay, sometimes four. Pick up on your just chin. Sometimes I fear I shed tears. Only when I'm shopping. You're throwing. I was having you throw. I'm saving this.
We absolutely beat ourselves up trying to get the script just right for the first day of rehearsal, and we thought we had it. And the first day of rehearsal, 2 minutes into it, Marc goes, "We have to cut this."
Right. So we're making changes every day, and that's part of the joy of any production, whether it be something we've written in a new work or whether it's 42nd Street. It's finding the things that tailors it to your cast and to your experience and at the Fulton or at whatever, oftentimes we've done shows in the Round, so you have to make adjustments for that. So the play is going on the journey of coming to life both of what it is on the page as well as physically presenting it, here. We knew writing this that the end of Act 1 needed to be a legitimate fight.
Stage
combat, not like people throwing a punch and they're 10 feet away from each other. We wanted it to be thrilling and exciting, much like a huge dance number at the end of an act. we knew we had to get a professional, somebody who really did this for a living to do it. And we were very fortunate, I think, to find John Bellomo from Philadelphia. And he's a great guy and very strong in his craft and in his communication skills.
His great rapport with the cast.
It's really terrific. And he's and it's, from what we've done so far, it's very thrilling. I got to see part of it today. You guys can't even actually sit down and watch part of it. It's really cool, and I think necessary.
Well, working with John Herrera has been great. We're only 1 week into the rehearsal process, but he's been absolutely great. He has had amazing ideas. He's had ideas that we've said no to, and he's been totally fine with that as well. And he's brought a lot to the table. He really has.
From the minute we met him, from the minute we started the New York workshop, he has been clicking on all cylinders of wanting this to be incredible. And to be honest, it sort of surprised me because, this is a man whose resume is enormous and doesn't have to do this play. But not only is he doing it, he's doing it with so much gusto and so much
reckless abandon.
Creativity. And a lot of some of the best changes that we've made, I think, have been spurred by his thought or him saying, hey, what if?
I get to beat the eggs and slice the bread and pound the wheat into flour. I get to grate the cheese and split the peas and crush the clams for the chowder. I get to lure the pig, then skewer the pig, then roast his hide on a fire, then tear his flesh for making fresh hot bacon.
Everybody, there's a really incredible sense in the room that everybody's a part of something special. And every theatrical process, every show you do, you feel like you want it to be the best and you want to have a good time, and you do. But then every now and then something comes along that feels unique and different and special. And that's sort of what we're getting this week, that everybody feels like this is really something special. And that's really been exciting for us because,
it's easier to make something special if people think it is, if people feel like it's special when they're working on it. Mm-hmm. That you get a oneness when you're working on it that is rare.
And with the new work especially, it's exciting because it isn't the 400th production of something. This is new. Everybody knows that everything they bring to the table, this is going to be the ground plate, or the ground
launching
plan, the launching plan, I think, or the ground plan for the future of this play, and the changes we're making that everybody's bringing are going down in the script.
We staged the scene, the mutiny scene today, and watching everyone do it. My character is not in that scene, so I got to sit with Marc and watch part of that. And watching them sing that song, you could see on everyone's faces that they're like, no one else has ever done this before.
Right.
We're the first, and it was neat. It was neat to see.
Look at me, I'm on adventure on the deep wide open sea. Look at me, I'm on adventure, but it's just my fantasy. 'Cause I know that these are only dreams I'll never wake to see. Not for me, not for me.
We hope for whatever comes from it. We truly are concentrating on the here and now, and we are trying to make this the absolute best production it can be. And if something happens to it, great. But if not, we are going to have as much fun and enjoy this as much as we possibly can right now.
There's so many times in this business where people are concentrating so much on where it's going that they're not enjoying where it is. I said to my mother the other day, it's like being at a wedding that's your wedding. How many times have you gone to a wedding where the bride and groom never get to eat? We're not going to do that. We're going to enjoy this party. We're going to enjoy this experience. And if it goes on, great.
Of course we want it
to go on.
We want the best for it and for everyone involved in it. But in order for that to happen, I think we have to live right here and right now and take care of it.
Come, Jim and John.